Human rights and the United Nations Charter. Let's start the journey with, first, normative and institutional framework of the UN. The United Nations, UN, was founded in 1945, in the aftermath of the Second World War, with the primary objectives of maintaining international peace and security, promoting social progress, and ensuring respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. Human rights are enshrined in the UN Charter, the organization's foundational document, making the protection of these rights a core principle of international relations and cooperation. The Charter explicitly refers to human rights in several key articles. The preamble reaffirms faith in fundamental human rights, the dignity and worth of the human person, and the equal rights of men and women. Article 1 of the Charter outlines the purposes of the UN, which include promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without distinction. Articles 13, 55, and 56 detail the obligations of member states to take joint and separate action in cooperation with the UN to achieve these goals. Institutionally, the UN system is structured to facilitate the protection and promotion of human rights through several key organs and specialized agencies. These include the General Assembly, the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, the Security Council, and the International Court of Justice, ICJ. In addition to these primary bodies, specialized agencies such as the International Labour Organization, ILO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the World Health Organization, WHO, also contribute to the advancement of human rights in their respective fields. The Human Rights Council, which replaced the former Commission on Human Rights in 2006, along with various treaty bodies and special rapporteurs, forms the central institutional apparatus specifically dedicated to human rights. Together, these bodies constitute a normative and institutional framework that both codifies human rights standards and ensures mechanisms for their monitoring and enforcement. B. Role of the permanent organs of the UN, Human Rights Commissions, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. General Assembly. The General Assembly plays a critical role in the promotion of human rights by providing a forum for discussion and by adopting key human rights declarations and conventions. It was the General Assembly that adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, in 1948 and continues to initiate and support new treaties, such as the International Covenants on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, and Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, ICESCR. Security Council. While primarily focused on international peace and security, the Security Council occasionally addresses gross human rights violations. It can authorize humanitarian interventions, impose sanctions, and establish tribunals, such as those for the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda. However, its actions are often influenced by the political dynamics of its permanent members, which can limit its effectiveness in consistent human rights protection. Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. ECOSOC coordinates the work of specialized agencies and commissions that focus on human rights issues. It also oversees the work of the UN Human Rights Council and formerly the Commission on Human Rights. ECOSOC supports dialogue, reviews human rights reports, and facilitates policy development in the field of economic, social, and cultural rights. International Court of Justice, ICJ. Although not a human rights court per se, the ICJ adjudicates disputes between states involving issues that may intersect with human rights, such as diplomatic protections or state responsibilities. It also provides advisory opinions on legal questions referred to it by UN organs and agencies, which can influence international human rights norms. UN Human Rights Council. Established in 2006 to replace the Commission on Human Rights, the Human Rights Council is the principal intergovernmental body responsible for promoting and protecting human rights worldwide. It undertakes the Universal Periodic Review, UPR, of the human rights records of all UN member states and appoints special rapporteurs and working groups to investigate and report on human rights issues globally. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, The Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, UDHR, was established in 1993 following the World Conference on Human Rights in Vienna. The High Commissioner is the principal UN official with responsibility for human rights. The UDHR supports human rights mechanisms and treaty bodies, engages in monitoring and capacity building, provides technical assistance, and responds to human rights crises. Let's move towards Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR. History of the Declaration. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, was adopted on December 10, 1948, by the United Nations General Assembly as a response to the atrocities committed during World War II. It was drafted by a committee chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt and included notable figures like René Cassin, Charles Malik, and Peng Chun-Chang. The goal was to set a common standard of fundamental human rights to be universally protected. The drafting process was both ambitious and inclusive, aiming to reflect diverse legal traditions and cultures. Despite ideological differences during the Cold War era, the UDHR was adopted with overwhelming support. 48 countries voted in favor, none against, and 8 abstained. The declaration became a milestone document that laid the groundwork for future human rights instruments. B. Structure of the declaration. The UDHR consists of a preamble and 30 articles. The preamble sets the philosophical and moral foundation, emphasizing dignity, equality, and freedom. Articles 1 and 2 affirm the equality and non-discrimination principles. Articles 3 to 21 detail civil and political rights, including the right to life, liberty, security, freedom of speech, and participation in government. Articles 22 to 27 elaborate on economic, social, and cultural rights such as the right to work, education, and an adequate standard of living. Articles 28 to 30 highlight the duties of individuals and communities in upholding these rights and establish the framework for international cooperation. C. Legal significance. Though the UDHR is not a legally binding treaty, it holds immense legal and moral significance. It serves as a soft law instrument, guiding states and international organizations in shaping policies and legislation. Over time, many of its principles have gained the status of customary international law. The UDHR has influenced the drafting of numerous national constitutions, regional human rights instruments, and international treaties. It laid the foundation for the ICCPR and ICESCR, thereby transforming aspirational ideals into binding legal obligations. It is frequently cited in court rulings, both internationally and domestically, enhancing its normative authority. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe the channel and share the video.